Will the money raised for Black Lives Matter actually go back to Black lives? Before we get started, go ahead and click that like button and go ahead and share this out so we can get this information out there. Also, subscribe if you're not a subscriber. Also, check out my Patreon where I talk about things that we can't talk about here on YouTube. And check out the link in the description for the merch. We got Let's Go Brandon t shirts and all different types of t shirts, even anime stuff. I will not comply t shirts. Check those out. Everything we make here in house, and it goes to fund this. All right, let's get into the story. Patrice Cullors, co-founder of Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation, stepped down from the group in May last year after a series of financial scandals provoked her resignation. Now, more than 8 months later, and upwards of $60 million raised, the global charity remains plagued with money controversies and no apparent leadership or oversight. According to the Washington Examiner, investigation published last week, the address listed on the organization's tax forms is wrong, and its two remaining board members refused to say who was managing a $60 million bankroll. And of course, we did a story on this. You can check out the news playlist for that. Meanwhile, Color's supposed replacements ended up replacing nobody. BLM co-founder Patrice Cullors appointed two activists to serve as the group's senior directors following her resignation in May amid scrutiny over her personal finances, wrote the Examiner's Andrew Kerr. But both quietly announced in September that they never took the jobs due to disagreements with BLM. They told the Washington Examiner they don't know who now leads the nation's most influential social justice organization. That's crazy. Like, no one knows who is running BLM. But, I've said before on my old channel that, BLM is not really ran by black people. It's ran by Jewish people. It's the truth. They the one founded it. They the one behind it. White people are the ones that's actually behind Black Lives Matter, and that's why they're not really speaking to the black issues that's really plaguing our culture. They're not really touching none of those issues. They're talking about stuff that's really not really pertaining to the majority of black people. I got into that on multiple different stuff on my culture. So check out my culture section where I go into some of the stuff that Black Lives Matter is really for. But where the pile of money will be sent remains unknown. The group's bylaws dictate that the executive director shall have charge of all funds and securities of the corporation. And I'm gonna say her name wrong, but it's Shalamaya, I guess, Bowers, who remains listed as the group's deputy executive director, did not respond to the Federalist inquiries, and neither did the foundation. Meanwhile, black business owners are being crushed by draconian jab mandates protested by activists. In Boston, the Massachusetts Restaurants Associated with the city's leftist mayor last week complaining that City Hall's jab requirement for dining is costing its business up to $15,000 a week. Like, how can a restaurant survive if they're losing $15,000 a week just for someone to say they took a jab that don't protect you from getting the stupid 19 in the first place? But the soon-to-be six-figure losses are steeping sums for an industry already operating on slim profit margins after routine lockdowns nearly took them out of business altogether. The Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation operates a survival fund to step in where the government falls short, and they go on to say that BLM GNF and BLM Grassroots designed the BLM Survival Fund to support black people and their families facing economic hardships during the pandemic by giving them cash as a means of support to keep them in their homes, keep food on the table, and ultimately provide a little breathing room in their lives. But without the functioning oversight or leadership, and with the 990 the 990 tax form outside of public view, according to the Washington Examiner, it's unclear how much money will actually find its way in the hands of people BLM claims to support. And we all know why people really start these charities. It's really a way to wash money. But in July of last year, the group provided the bulk of funding for more than 8 million cash purchase of a Toronto mansion, raising more frustration among followers over its finances. And you know, I did a video on that. They purchased basically a old communist mansion in Toronto. But California regulators warned on Monday that they would hold BLM's leader personally liable unless the group filed the requirement documents to maintain an adequate level of transparency. But let me know what you think about this. Leave your comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe. And check out themarkrepublics.com for the latest in news. Until next time, peace.